Agents of Atlas, the people behind the move.
Welcome back to another episode of Movified. I am your host, Mark Hirschi, owner of Salmon's Moving and Storage, located in beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. And this is the Atlas Agent Edition. Welcome to the show, Milton Letkeman, all the way out from Saskatchewan. Welcome.
Thank you.
Milton, for those that don't know him, he has been with Jay's for how many years now?
35.
I feel like forever. 35 years. Wow. Jay's Moving and Storage is a very successful moving, logistics, storage, long distance company that has encompassed Saskatchewan, which is the one of the prairie provinces that we have, probably smack in the middle of Canada. And they've been around for, I think you're telling me, like 61 years now.
Yep. 61st year.
61st year. It's amazing. And when you think of that longevity and the 35 years that you've been with the company, can you tell me a little bit more of like the background of how you got started? I mean, you don't look a day older than 36. So, I mean, you must have started at such a young age in the moving
Thank
industry.
you for that. Well, I started when Jay's bought a local drayage company, and it was called Regina Cartage. And I happened to join them through that. And then as that evolved, I was part of that. And then I moved into the moving, and I've been there for 33 years in the actual moving. So yeah,
Okay.
Jay's was growing at that time and was buying a few different companies. We were in different provinces. At that time, we were quite large. But again, Saskatchewan is home. That's where we focus. So
When you're looking at already the history of Jay's, did you start off as that typical story? Hey, I started off as a helper, and then I became a driver, and then I went into the office and did that. Or were you always put in that position as GM?
nope. I started in the cartage company, the cartage and storage company. And then I came into the moving, and I moved into there as a dispatcher. That's where I started. So I was dispatcher, long distance dispatcher, branch manager. I moved to Winnipeg for a while, was a manager there, came back, did sales. I learned sales in Winnipeg. And then just from there, it just has been a journey. That's what it's been. So,
And on that journey, when you think about it, I always look at a restaurant, right? Someone says, well, I just got hired as a server, and they're handed a menu. You hope that they're memorizing that menu, because now as the guest, they're going to ask you about 1,000 different questions about this particular type of steak or pasta, and they don't know the answers to it. So people have said, well, you should have been in the kitchen. What is your expertise, to tell someone that's listening to this podcast to go, really, when you start in the moving industry and you want to work in the office, this is probably the one or two positions that you really should start with.
I really am very strong in the operations side. I had to learn the sales side. And I think the operations gave me all the knowledge to be a better salesperson. You can sell, but it's the product. You have to know the product. So I really appreciated coming up from the dispatch, handling the guys, the warehouse, the trucks. In cold Saskatchewan winters, we used to start the one truck that would start and then pull start the other ones. I mean, those are the things you learn, and you learn how to get through and gain those experiences. And like I said to everybody, I was just stubborn enough to stay long enough to learn some stuff. So
Right. And now you are probably just full of knowledge and the go-to person at Jay's to say, hey, you know what, Milton has the answer for this.
pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much.
Been there, done that. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, we talked about at the beginning the variety of different divisions that Jay has. One obviously being long distance. How many years has Jay's and Atlas been a family?
Jay's has been in the Atlas family. I think this is the 55th year.
Wow. Okay.
I think it's this year is Regina. The branch in Regina has been an Atlas agent for 55 years.
Wow, that's amazing. And obviously you've seen over your time period, the highs, the lows of being part of a van line. One of the questions that I ask a lot is, When it comes to choosing a van line, being part of a van line, what is some of the benefits? Like, what was, okay, if you can share a story or a memory of a time where you're like, man, I'm so glad that we're not an independent moving company, but we are part of the Atlas family to make sure this job gets done.
The interesting part is that our previous owner, Dennis Dale, he started he bought a freight company, and then he kind of got interested in this moving stuff. He kind of was watching people do it and thought, well, this is cool. So he started with a half-ton truck and a two-wheel trailer, and he started doing moves. And then he went, well, if I'm going somewhere and I'm taking somebody somewhere, can I get something to go back with? And I guess as time went along, he really joined the van line is to get that two-way movement, that he could be part of somebody that he could give into the system and the system could give back to him. And
Very
that
cool.
was I mean, in this many years, it was just growth through many, many things that a van line goes through to get to where it is today. I mean, there was all sorts of offerings and learnings and changes and people changes you have to go through. I mean, it's quite remarkable. But that was the reason that Jay's ended up being an Atlas agent, is because he was doing the work, wanted to make it better and work part of a team, a greater whole, and that's how it came to be. So.
And Jay's being around for 61 years, especially in Saskatchewan. How many locations do you have now?
We have 8 locations in Saskatchewan. We're not just a moving company. We also are attached to our other half, which is the freight business. Jay's has a freight business that is only of service to Saskatchewan. They have relationships, but our relationship what we are is we are of service to Saskatchewan. We service 550 points of service every week.
Wow.
And there's 400 pieces of equipment that rolls just about every day. Many trailers move up and down the highway, and it's a good brother to have when you're in the moving industry. So,
well, sure, everybody sees you, and because everybody sees you, how much involvement in the community does Jay's participate in?
It's countless. I mean, we are. I couldn't tell you all the different things we've been part of. I mean, with Atlas Van Lines, we were part of countless charities, and we really support all of our points of service. Every little town we get requests for some help, and a kids club in Battleford, all sorts of different things. Our main focus, or main one that we work with, is the Kinsmen, who do Telemiracle every year.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, Saskatchewan, they hold it's coming up here in about 6 weeks, and they have a telethon, and it's on for, I don't know, I think it's 20 hours or something. And we've been a big contributor to that. Years ago, Dennis started a golf tournament. We have been continuing on our relationship with them and our support for them. And I don't even know the number. I think we've put into Telemiracle over the years $1.5 million.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, to raise that kind of money, are you at a certain hour juggling a bunch of different balls in the air? Like, are we going to expect Milton with like a red nose on like a tricycle, scooting around back and forth to make sure those phones are ringing? Get those phones ringing.
We do have a team that goes there every year and is part of that group. But our employees, everybody has been part of it. They have bake sales, they have raffles, they have all sorts of different things to raise money. We have an auction on our website every year. So we just are doing everything we can. The golf tournament used to be a huge contributor, but that just became huge. It was just too big for us. So,
wow. Well, that's always great to hear. When we flip it back into the moving industry, what would you say, especially today, are some of the challenges that you face in the industry, and how do you yourself and then Jays as a whole tackle it?
There's lots of different challenges that come up. I mean, it's very price conscious because people are taking, we got to take care of their stuff. They're very particular. It's their home. It's everything they've worked for. So, they want it taken care of, but pricing is a big issue. And one of the things that we have, worked through is that we're just not going to be the cheapest in the marketplace, but we are going to do what we say we do. And I keep telling our people, we do noble work. Not very many people get invited into somebody's home to take care of their all their precious belongings. So it is quite noble work. We have to treat it as so. And I believe we should be paid for it because it's just the way it is. Now, on top of that, there's just a ton of things that go on the moving industry. It's not always the best people you get to see. Sometimes you have to wade your way through a bunch of misinformation and to get where you need to be. But I keep telling people, just be involved with your move, think what it is that you want, and go with somebody you trust. So
is there an advice that you relay to the movers themselves when those hiccups arise?
it's always about respect. Okay.
Right.
We are going into somebody's home and we should be always respectful. That's what we should do. Doesn't mean we can always do what that person has asked us to do. Sometimes it's just not possible. However, respectfully try to figure it out. And if you can't do it, then just tell them so. We just can't accomplish this for you. But always just take care of them the best you can and treat them as if how they would like to be treated. So
when you look back over, the 30 years being in, especially in the industry and having the different variety of positions, what would you say have you found has been such a change when you think back to like the 90s, early 2000s, as opposed to now, where to go out to create a sale, to go out to talk to customers has completely changed? Like the scale, you think of how Canada is, but like what have you seen completely shift?
it's the expectations have changed. Now, I mean, it's not this business where we were there to help them. We were there to do the work, to take care of them the best we could. And now I tell people, I says, we are in the service industry, but we're not servants. So it's just, it's trying to keep the respect and that flowing back and forth. The world
Do you think that
changed.
you think the respect was way different? If I was moving back in like 98 and we had hired Jays and someone was coming to your house, like there was this respect as the customer to my movers going, man, like these are the guys, this is my expectation, as
And I
opposed
really
to
appreciate them. Right?
right.
It's just different. Now it's just that the expectations in the world have changed.
Yeah.
You know,
Movers here, see you later. Didn't pack half my stuff, but make sure you give me the best price.
right. I keep relating it to, it's the Amazon, Wayfair, or whatever you want is, the internet has made it instantaneous. If I want it, I have it tomorrow. And in our industry, the ramping up for a house move for somebody that is moving to somewhere else doesn't happen overnight. There's too many
Right.
loose ends, but they expect it overnight. And then when it doesn't go right, then there has to be some sort of compensation. You phone Amazon and say, well, this just wasn't what I expected, or this is broken. Well, a whole new one comes out to you. Well, that's not how the moving industry, that's not how the service industry works. We have one shot at doing it well, and we do what we do best, and it just doesn't seem like the same appreciation's in there. And I'm not saying that for everybody. We do have a lot of people that really do appreciate us in their home and taking care of them.
When customers are planning for a big move, right? So you got a customer that's saying, hey, great, I'm moving from Regina to Vancouver. What is the one piece of advice that you typically would give that customer for a smoother move?
To me, is be involved. Like, it's your move. Talk to the people that you're working with, being it the salesperson, the operations person, the crew that shows up at the door. Talk to them. And if you have something you want, you have to ask for it, because we don't know. And that's what I do, is I just encourage them to be part of the move. so that everybody's on the same team.
I like that. It's very important, especially for the customers to at least know what they're going on. There's too many times when they get to the offload and the customers are freaking out because half their boxes, they have no idea where they are. But had they been involved in the labeling and the preparation of, the expectations of where you want these things to go, instead of just sitting back and relaxing, then, that heightened anxiety that they're going to have is a lot less stressful. For sure.
I think so. I really do.
Totally. One of the last questions that I like to ask, especially van line agents, is there are independent moving companies out there where an opportunity comes their way. They are approached by a van line, whether it is someone like Atlas or United, it doesn't really matter which van line they're talking to. Their eyes open up. Ooh, there's this revenue, there's this opportunity, there's this things. Can you share like some of the top 3 tips and advice that you would give that independent mover that is looking to go with a van line and say, hey, when you do this, these are some of the expectations you need to know. This is some of the tips that you should be asking or recommending you find out before you decide to be part of the van line?
One of the first ones, I think, is that, when you are growing a independent company that you're in control of and everything else, it's easy to keep it in front of you. And sometimes I think the sheer math of what can come your way from being a van line overwhelms you. So my first bit of advice is be ready, be solid. Make sure you have your crews in place and that you know what's going on, because there's going to be a lot of learning to go on and everybody's going to be part of that. And it's just very different. The expectations are different. You don't control what comes your way. The other thing is that, have a strong financial base. It is just different. Van lines operate in a different level. And so you need to be strong so that you can get through to that next day. And then once it's in the flow, it flows pretty well. And being in touch with your crews, your operations and everything else, it's going to be a lot of different things going on. So, having an open situation where you guys can all talk, because new things will be coming every day. And it's something that you all have to work on together to get to the other side. So
I like that. That's great. Milton, I am, for no unjust reason that I could think of, am looking to move to Regina. And me and you run into an elevator together. I see the Jay's jacket on and I ask you what it means. And you said, oh yeah, we're moving a storage company. I said, fantastic. I'm looking to move. We got 45 seconds riding in this elevator together. Sell me on it.
Give us a shot. Trust who you meet. So that's my thing. I believe that a person should never move with somebody they don't trust. It has to be some that feeling or the information that comes out, whatever it is that gives you comfort to do that. That's what you should do. And Jays will do that for you.
Perfect. Under 45 seconds too. Fantastic. Yeah. Look at you. Keep it short and sweet. I like it. Yeah. Well, Milton, this has been awesome. I really appreciate your time and that you were able to share some of your experiences, some of your tips and tricks. And I love the unity of 55 years with Atlas Van Lines. I think that's remarkable, to say the least. I think a lot of people are not even married that long these days, and to be having that unity with another van line and working together is amazing. So for any of those ones that are listening, anyone that is thinking of moving, coming out of Saskatchewan or going into, definitely reach out to Jay's. You can also find their listing on Atlas Van Lines Canada website as well too. And until next time, stay movified.